Good morning. Welcome to the Back to Basics Weight Loss Surgery channel. I'm Dana and I'm your Saturday vlogger, MsDanaGerous. So I've got two parts in the video today. One is a food review and one is a recipe. The food review is for oven Cravers seasoned raw stuffed chicken breasts, and the flavor that I picked was pepper jack, Swiss cheese, and bacon. And I got these at Walmart. They come in a package of two. There's two chicken breasts inside, so two basically 5-ounce portions. This package was $3 something, I believe, and they had other flavors that were available, and for some reason they were priced a little more. The stats are pretty good per serving, so one full chicken breast, which actually is going to be around 5 ounces, is 240 calories. Total fat is 13 grams. That's a little high, I would say. That's from the cheeses, no doubt. 27 grams of protein. So I do know that 5 ounces is probably too big for most weight loss surgery patients. So you know, your total calorie count is going to get adjusted down. And you pop these in the oven and you bake them for 40 to 45 minutes. Here's what it looks like after it's baked. Okay, so here is the stuffed chicken breast. The package said they were 5 ounces. They probably were 5 ounces before they cooked, because right now, after cooking, 4.34 ounces. So that's probably, it is more than I'll be able to eat. So I will probably eat a half or a little more than a half of this, and go from there. So it's pretty big for, depending on, you know, how far out you are. Here's what it looks like when I cut it in half. Now these have been sitting and they've gotten cold because they've been sitting here. I'm sure the cheese would have been gooier in the middle when they were served hot, but I didn't get a chance to do that. So, but you can see it's kind of like a chicken breast that they made a little tunnel in, and then it's got the cheeses and other flavorings in, the spices, the jalapeno and bacon and stuff. So okay, here goes the bite. That was too big of a bite. Good. It's good even room temperature. It would be really good cold. I mean hot. The chicken's tender, but you get the cheesiness. The bacon's not overpowering. It says it has jalapeno. It's not spicy. Just a good flavor. So definitely, yeah, these are easy and pretty good. And so half of my little serving, if I eat half of one of these, it's 120 calories, and 27 divided by 2, 13.5 grams of protein, so that's pretty good. 6.5 grams of fat, 2 grams of carbohydrates, so that's a good go-to meal. Today's recipe is for a Greek lemon berry mousse parfait. I made it in here for like 4 servings, but please listen to the whole video because the calorie count was higher, so you may want to make this to 6 servings. I think that's more reasonable size for bariatrics, and you may want to make some adjustments. So start with 8 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon of Splenda brown, 2 tablespoons of butter melted, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Mix those all together until they are crumbly. Okay, so I've taken my flaxseed crumble, so kind of like graham cracker crumbs, and then I've put it in a square. It wouldn't have to be a square. I'm putting it in a square because I'm going to break this up into 4 even portions a little bit later, and I just thought a square would make it easier. And I've just put it on a little baking sheet on some foil to make it easy for cleanup. And I'm going to pop this in my toaster oven, actually. I have it set to 350 degrees. Okay, so here's my little crusty crumble. I cooked it 10 minutes at 350. I could probably cook it a little more. It's crumbly. I think it's going to stay crumbly, but it has started to form together in kind of a crust. And I'm going to let it cool. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I really am going to break this up and use it more like crumbs. But I wanted to be more cooked flavored, not like raw flavored, and that's why I did this step. You probably, depending on, we'll see how this cools. It's possible that it cools enough that you could use it like a crust itself, but I really think it's going to be too crumbly for that. So I'm going to let it cool and be back with you in a little bit. Okay, so this is my 1 cup of Greek yogurt with the packet of lemon jello mixed in, and this has been chilling for a couple of hours. It is very stiff. You see, it's very, very stiff. And I wanted that to really happen. I wanted it to be pretty thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Cool Whip next. So I'm measuring out a cup of Cool Whip. That's not quite half the container, so I actually may end up using half the container. Folding the Cool Whip into the lemon yogurt mixture, and folding is where you don't want to mix briskly. What you want to do is make like a figure 8 with your spatula or your spoon is what I always turn. So basically we're going to go from the bottom and turn over. So we're trying to keep as much fluff in the Cool Whip as possible, but yet mix it through the yogurt. Okay, so here is my lemon and Cool Whip mixture. I ended up using just about a little more than a cup, so half a container of Cool Whip, and I've mixed this in pretty thoroughly, but as gently as I could. And it is still super thick, you can see, and fluffy. And I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it chill a little bit more. Okay, so for my berries, I could use fresh berries, fresh strawberries, fresh blueberries, blackberries, whatever you had, but I don't have fresh. But I buy these at Costco. They're Kirkland Nature's 3 berries. It's a frozen mix, and my husband actually loves these. He eats them just frozen, barely thawed. They're good for smoothies and everything else if you haven't had them. So it's a nice blend of let's see, raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. So I'm going to measure out some of these, and I'm going to let them thaw lightly. Okay, so I want to give you stats on this recipe. And unfortunately, the stats are not as good as I thought they were. And this is what happens when you experiment sometimes. But there are ways to make this better than the way I've prepared it. So first of all, let me just tell you what I do when I'm trying to figure out stats for a recipe. I go to log into MyFitnessPal, and then either on a piece of paper or an Excel spreadsheet, I look up all the little individual ingredients, and I put in their calories, fat, carbs, sugars, fiber, protein, and sometimes I don't do all those stats, but I always do at least calories and protein. And then I kind of look up the quantity that I used in the recipe, and I log it in. It's easier to add on a spreadsheet, but you can do it on a piece of paper. So you can see my cup of yogurt was 130 calories, no fat, 9 carbs, 9 sugars, 23 grams of protein. And then I did the same thing for the jello, the Cool Whip, the flax. The MyFitnessPal will let you convert the serving sizes that you used. So then I get a total recipe, calorie count, fat count, etc. So, and this recipe I said was going to be 4 servings. I may decide that this ultimately needs to be smaller servings because when you look at the total calories and then divide it by 4, you get per serving. I don't like that. Per serving, 281 calories, 14 grams of fat, 30 grams of carbs, 13 grams of sugar, 8.5 grams of fiber, 10.5 grams of protein. That serving size is going to be a half a cup of the mousse a quarter of the cookie crumbles plus a half a cup of berries. And that actually may be too big of a serving size for a bariatric portion anyway. So I'll see when I dish it out how big it comes out to. Because if really that's bigger than a bariatric serving size, then, you know, we can adjust it down some. The other thing that I know is that I probably could have used less, a different kind of a Cool Whip, because I used Cool Whip Lite. That's 250 of the total calories. The flaxseed, there's a lot of calories in the flaxseed. It's healthy fat, healthy calories, and then of course the butter. So if I'd have used something like, I can't believe it's not Butter Light or one of the lighter margarines, it would have been less calories and less fat. So, you know, if I do this again, then I could probably cut that. Or, you know, if you leave off the flax crumble, then you're leaving off a big chunk of the calories, the flax, and the butter, you know, so you're leaving off a big chunk of that. So if I were going to do this for every day, I might just do the yogurt, the jello, and the Cool Whip, and some berries, and not the little cookie crumble. Right, so now what I'm going to assemble, I've already put one together and put another one together. I'm taking about a quarter of the lemon mousse, and actually I'm putting a part of it in the bottom of my little parfait jar. And then I'm taking my little flax crumble, graham cracker crumble, and I'm taking like half of it, and I'm putting it on. And then half cup of berries, and I'm going to put half of the berries. These are still pretty frozen. You could let them thaw more, or again, you could use fresh. Then I'm going to put the other half of the quarter, so the other eighth on top. And then the other part of my 1/4 of my little graham crust, and the rest of the half a cup of berries. Okay, so, and that's a big old chunk of berries. It'll thaw a little bit. I think you could make it fancy if you wanted to put the mousse stuff in a baggie and pipe it in, and it would look prettier, maybe. So I do think that this is really large for a bariatric portion, so a quarter of the recipe, this is quite a bit. So if you cut it down to like 6 servings, which would be bariatric size, then your calorie count's going to be lower, as we talked about earlier. So, but looks pretty nice. I think it looks fancy. Okay, it's taste test time. So my husband already had his. He liked it, so that was very good. So these have been sitting a little while because I wanted the berries to thaw a little bit more than what they were. So here goes. I like lemon desserts that are really tangy lemon, and this is. So, you know, the Fage also is, because it has quite a bit of sourness to it. If you like a milder taste, a milder yogurt, and then the Fage, you know, but this is nice. It's got a nice lemon bite to it. Smooth and creamy. The little flaxseed crumbles definitely gives you the feeling of like graham crackers. So, but you know, it doesn't have the carbs of the graham crackers. So, yeah, I think it's good. My only concern would be the total calorie count. I think a smaller portion would make it reasonable. If you wanted to leave off the flaxseed crumble, you know, that would cut the calories. But actually, I like that part because that's what I miss is kind of the feeling of graham cracker crust. And that's what I was trying to make without making like a whole pie. So maybe just using the, you know, not real butter and a different kind of Cool Whip would just make it better in general. You could leave off the berries too. Okay.